Okay, fellas, we've done really well to get promoted already. We've got 2 games left this season, though. Both are grand finals, both for trophies. So I need absolute 100% commitment to the cause. Oh, hold on, just got a message here. Youth intake. Right. Ooh, he looks good.
Looking for trouble and fights, but you found me. Now I'm a screw up, but baby, I'm glad you're someone to rely on, someone to rely on. No, I'm a screw up, but baby, I could be someone to rely on, someone to rely on, someone to rely on.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Husavik Heroes here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well, and today we round off season 2. As you can see on screen, we've had a youth intake. We've got the Mjólkurbikarinn final against Grótta, the two teams who are going to finish 1 and 2 in the one deal. And off the back of that, we're going to play our last game of the league season as well and try and claim the one deal title as we make our way up to the top division for next season. So if you're looking forward to this bumper episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But before we bring you guys up to date with highlights from the games that we have played since the last episode at the end of last week, the Icelandic Cup semi-final, if you missed that, I will leave a link to it above my head in the top right corner. But first things first, we have had our youth intake. On the whole, it's not a great youth intake. We go below the top talent there, and there's a couple of 2.5 star, once that stops glitching, 3-star kind of potential players, but mostly not very good players. So we're not going to sign too many from this intake, but there is one potential player who could almost jump straight into the first 11, and that is Jakob Arnason. He is a 2.5-star rated striker with 4-star goal potential, 5-star white potential. So this player could be a really good one for the next few years for us here at Völsungur, and that could be important if we did win this Mjólkurbikarinn final, as we are going to need a certain amount of players who are trained at the club. He would be an ideal candidate if we needed a player like that, because he is homegrown at the club, 2.5-star current ability, as I said, and looks pretty decent, is already up there tight ability-wise with Olgierson, our backup striker. So he is a very nice addition through this youth intake. He's the one main standout from it, and looks like a player who we could have a lot of fun with over the next few seasons here at Völsungur. As I said, he's the standout, and behind that, there's a few other players who we might sign, but it doesn't look like the greatest youth intake, it is fair to say, outside of Arnason. So that's what our youth intake looks like this year. I'd actually think it's a little bit better than last year, just because we've got a player who is immediately usable in the first team. But we've played a few games in the league, so time to catch you guys up on the highlights from those. First off, we had a home game against Fram Reykjavik, a team down near the bottom, as you would have seen when we took these guys on in the Mjólkurbikarinn not too long ago, and got off to an absolute flyer in the second minute. Paprasicki setting up Stefansson for a header, which he put in to the top right corner. And then at the 12-minute mark, Paprasicki for Lillemosa, back for Paprasicki. Treble gets his head on the end of it, flicks it on for Stefansson. He picks up a nice early double to put us 2-0 in front, and then only a few minutes later, we made it free. Maffio down the right-hand side puts another ball into the mixer, and yet again, Stefansson, top right corner, picks up a hat-trick inside the first quarter of an hour, and we went into half-time 3-0 up, so very comfortable at that stage. And we came out of the sheds in good touch as well. Dordovic setting up Ledson there for a goal for the young Brazilian to make it 4-0 just after half-time, and then late in the game, Olgierson came off the bench, put a penalty away, and we win that game very comfortably 5-0, and that put us right on the brink of gaining promotion up to the top division. And the other game that we played prior to today was against the then third placed Afturalding. So this was more or less a promotion do or die game for them anyway. We could still have avoided to slip up a game after this, but we got off to a good start there, opening the scoring around the 27-minute mark there through Dordovic, I believe it was, and then getting a penalty not too long off the back of that, which Maffio put away, and we went 2-0 up. And then at the 65-minute mark, Ledson tucks that away, a little bit sloppy at the back there from the Afturalding goalkeeper, and we did go 3-0 up with only 25 minutes left. But from there, Afturalding got right back into this. Good save on that shot there from Connor, but Ingvarsson is able to put that away and make it 3-1. But then not too long off the back of that, we did get another goal. Wang gets the possession back after a tackle on Stefansson, but the ball goes back into the mixer from Wang. Stefansson heads that away to make it 4-1. And then not too long off the back of that, though, after Relding did get another goal back, some good short passing and a wonderful volley that time from Holm, one of the best strikes I've seen in the game this year. And that made it 4-2. Shortly off the back of that, Conair got a penalty, which we'll talk about soon because it made it 4-3 and does mean we're going to be missing a player for this upcoming Mjólkurbikarinn final, but we absolutely made sure of the result in the 92nd minute, just grabbing that cushion goal through Flavio Treble to make it 5-3. So a very entertaining game. Felt like we had that one fairly under control for most of it, but they did come back late, but luckily we did hold on for a 5-3 win, and that was the result which saw us gain promotion up to the top division here in Iceland for next season. Unfortunately, in that game, though, that late penalty which Conair put away was given away from Mafio, our right back, and he is out for this cup final. Because of that, we had him easing off tackles for the whole game, and then he pushed someone in the penalty box in injury time. So he is a real dum-dum. That means that we're going to have to be calling on Ifeong at right back, a player who has not played too much for us this season for this upcoming cup final, the Mjólkurbikarinn, but we have secured promotion up to the top tier for next season. You can see us and Grótta are already confirmed. 4 points clear of it is actually Fjolnir in third now. They have jumped above after Relding, but we're pretty much in a position where we should be winning the league. Our last game of the season off the back of this cup final against Grótta is against Leiknir, so that's a game we really should be winning. In this final coming up, the first game of today's episode, the bigger game, I would argue, as it is against Grótta in the cup final, and if we win this one, we are going to be entering the Conference League qualifiers for next season. So that is a big carrot, European football potentially here at Völsungur, and that could be exactly what we need to try and turn this club professional for the third season of the save, as we also enter the top division, the Islands dield, and I believe that is called, but it's a top of the table clash in the one dield to decide this Icelandic Cup final. We've taken on Grótta already twice this season. We'll go over to the data hub and show you guys. First off, we had an away trip, which we got a 0-0 result from. Not a terrible one, as they were looking quite good then. And then a few months ago in the league, in the home tie, we did defeat them 1-0 thanks to a Peshatola goal. So far, we have not tasted defeat to Grótta. This final is going to be played at our home ground. Should be advantage to us. Hopefully we can get the job done and secure Conference League football for next season. And we will come back shortly from the Husavik Heroes to see if we can win in the Mjólkurbikarinn. And we do have TV coverage for this Mjólkurbikarinn final. We are the home team. There we are, pretty much first choice apart from Ifeong at right back, thanks to Mafio being suspended. There is Grótta using the exact same formation as us in pretty similar form as well. This should be a really good clash. The top two teams in the one deal, both teams going up to the top division next season. Let's see if we can win this Mjólkurbikarinn and secure ourselves some Conference League football, even if it is just in qualifiers for next season. We do have a nice early highlight here with a Frans Sviderski Lilamosa back over to Paprasicki, who has recovered from the injury he suffered a few games ago, and Stefansson gets an early header in the bottom right corner. That is a perfect start from us, exactly what we needed. Stefansson in a really nice patch of form at the right time of the season for us, the Icelandic striker, and we make it 1-0 Völsungur. Nice and early. The ball goes back out to Paprasicki, which one into the middle of the inner box, and it's a good header there from Stefansson, bottom right corner. Great start, 1-0 Völsungur. And up to the 15-minute mark now, we have another throw-in inside the final third again. Paprasicki, after getting the assist to set up the first goal, tries to get something going there for us. We do lose possession, and now it is Grótta who look to get us on the counter-attack. They now just slow things down and try and take their time as they mount a challenge, although it's a good interception there from Paprasicki. He has had a very good start to this game. We pumped that ball deep, good header down there from Stefansson for Ledson. What can he do, the young Brazilian, has been great for us this season. Lilamosa will try a shot just over the bar, and it does remain 1-0. And yet another throw-in for us here at the 19-minute mark. Paprasicki puts it into the mixer, but Grótta do deal with that one, and they now look to get us down the right-hand side yet again as they make their way forward there through Porstensson, although Paprasicki with another great interception. He has looked really good so far in this game. Tries to put a ball through for Stefansson, heads that forward, but a long way out from goal when he headed that forward, and their goalkeeper for Grótta will tidy things up nicely. Pumps one deep over the top of us, but Baldursson is there to steady the ship at the back alongside Zevnerov. Nice ball forward there for Stefansson. Takes on a long shot, comes off the upright, and they scramble it away there. Do Grótta, great chance, but it's still only 1-0 to Völsungur. And up to the 45-minute mark now, it's been a pretty quiet second part of this first half, still holding the 1-0 lead, but Grótta are on the attack here, camping inside our half as they look to create a chance late to try and square this up right before half-time. Put a ball into the mixer. Zevnerov gets beaten to that header. Luckily, though, it is high and wide, and that is going to be half-time. Pretty happy with how things went in that half. Pretty dominant, as you can tell by the XG and the stats. One little concern, Đorđević, our first choice right winger, isn't having a great game so far, down to a 6.4 rating. So I think what we're going to do here is actually make a halftime sub. Đorđević can come off for Wang. We'll just see if that makes a little bit of improvement in the second half, but pretty happy with how things are going. 1-0 up, 45 minutes away from some Conference League football for next season. And up to the 67-minute mark now, there have been no highlights so far in the second half, but Ledsson is down to a red heart, so we're going to bring old Gerson on for him. He can go out to the right wing, can our backup striker, and Wang will switch out to the left-hand side, still holding a 1-0 lead with only 23 minutes left to play. And not long off the back of that second substitution, we have a throw-in inside the final third again. Lillemosa, far post for Stefansson, just over the bar. The goalkeeper was called out a little bit there, but the shot is off target, and it remains 1-0. Okay, up to the 73-minute mark here, we're about to see a highlight, but Paprasicki having a great game, unfortunately down to a red heart, so DuPont can come on for him, not missing out on too much ability-wise with that change. That's our last substitution, but there is about to be a free kick here for Grótta. We'll see if anything comes from this. Holding on to this 1-0 lead pretty safely at the moment, as we're about to see our second highlight of this half, although they're given a lot of space there down the left-hand side. It's an absolute mess, and somehow we don't deal with it, and poor Stensson is able to make it. Grótta 1, Völsungur 1 with 15 minutes left to play of regular time. It's a bit of a soft goal to concede. They had the free kick. I thought we were dealing with them quite well throughout this game, but Peterson's given a ton of space there. They get a header off. It just comes off the inside of the upright, and poor Stensson, right place, right time to slide tackle that into the back of the net. Will make that substitution, but it's all to play for. 1-1 with 12 minutes, or 13 minutes I should say, left to go, but we do have a throw now. Effiong puts it back to Lillemosa, back to Effiong. Can he get an assist? The right back who's come into the team for this game. Unfortunately, that cross is straight into the hands of the Grótta goalkeeper, although he does get possession back through that header there, and we will try and launch another attack. Old Gerson, regularly a striker, but it's playing right wing for us today, with our wingers both being a little bit tired. It's a header there from Swiderski, just over the bar, and still 1-1 with 10 minutes left. And we are into the dying embers of injury time, and unfortunately that second half equaliser to Grótta means that we are going to extra time for this game. We'll just check if we can make another substitution here, as actually Wang is on an orange injury, which I didn't pick up. We'll see if we can potentially bring someone like Magnusson on for Effiong here, and we can't. So we've already used up our free substitutions. Tired bodies out there, and we enter extra time in the Icelandic Cup final. 96 minutes gone, and we do have a corner. The injured Wang puts us into the mixer, and there is a push in the back, and we are going to get a penalty. Old Gerson is going to step up. Hopefully, he puts this away. It's a massive chance for us. Could be the big moment in this final, but it's a massive save there from the Grótta goalkeeper. Can he put this back into the mixer, and can we create another chance? Effiong's ball back in there is a poor one. That's a great chance that could cost us. Missed penalty, still 1-1. And not long off the back of that missed penalty, as I said, hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us in this game. It feels like it might. We trained penalties leading up to this final as well, so that obviously didn't help in that situation, but we are on the attack again here through Wang, just shy of half-time. In the first part of extra time, a header from Stefansson just goes wide, and it is still 1-1. We've got yet another highlight, so we're really putting the pressure on Grótta to start off this period of extra time, but they are back in possession here through good Jonsson. Good interception there from DuPont, and we look to launch yet another attack and keep the pressure firmly on the second place holders in the one dield at the Husavik Heroes. Another ball over the top there for Stefansson, just holds things up this time, plays a ball back for Wang. It's a little bit poor, but we do keep possession. Treble out to Effiong in a lot of space. What can he do? Puts the ball into the mixer. It's a headed out to Swiderski. Hits one on the volley. Forces a good save there out of the Grótta goalkeeper. We will have a corner very late into extra time. The first half of it anyway. Injury time, I should have said, of extra time. The ball goes into the mixer. Is dealt with somewhat there. It's a header there for Baldursson. Puts that just wide. Some great chances to finish off the first half of extra time for us. A missed penalty earlier in that first half of extra time that could prove costly, and it's still 1-1 with only 15 minutes left before penalties. And nothing happened in the second half of extra time. It is going to a penalty shootout. Is this cup final? I can't believe I had Olgierson on penalties there actually, because he is awful compared to the rest of the squad. So that was a bit of a boo-boo on my behalf. So we'll sort out this order and we'll see if we can win this penalty shootout to try and get European football here at Völsungur for next season. And we have sorted out our penalty shootout order, as you can see on screen. Not too sure why I had Olgierson taking penalties there, coming off the bench to take them as well. That was a little bit of a boo-boo from me. Hopefully that doesn't cost us European football next season, because it might. But there is our penalty order. It's actually going to be a partly injured Wang who takes the first penalty for us in this shootout. Try and ease the boys' nerves heading into this penalty shootout, and we will see what happens. Olgierson is still on penalties, is scheduled to go up 5th, but hopefully by then we might have got the job done. Surely you can't miss 2 penalties in a row in the same game. But first up it is Grótta. Paul Steinsson, who got the equaliser, hits that straight at Badu, and the early advantage is to Völsungur, albeit Wang, with his orange injury, is going to have to put this home for us to make sure we do get that advantage. It's a good penalty, bottom left corner, and after one round of penalties, it is Völsungur 1, Grótta 0, and that's exactly the start that we were after. And now Peterson comes up for Grótta, and he slots that away nicely, sends Badu the wrong way, so it is back to 1-1, but we still should have the advantage here, as long as Flavio Trubia, his last little bit of action potentially as a Völsungur player, he buries that home. He has been a great servant to the club. I say that, we still have that last league game coming up to round off our season, but he buries it, and it is 2-1 Völsungur for now. Just gets that past Badu, does good Jonsson there for Grótta, and it's 2-2, but we can get back in front here through Lillemosa. It's defensive midfielder. He just gets that past their goalkeeper. Not too much power on it, but just hit the placement, and indeed we still hold the advantage. 3-2. All we need now is probably one more save. Jonsson, he puts it high and wide. It's a shocking penalty. I say wide, just high. Got a little bit excited there, but we now have the chance to seal the Icelandic Cup on penalties. Grótta have been very iffy with them. Maybe that training session that we did on penalties has paid off here. We'll find out, because Swiderski is about to take up. He buries it bottom right corner. Keeper goes the right way, and we make it a cup double for the season here at Völsungur. Bust out the fire saga, bust out some my hometown, because Völsungur win the Mjólkurbikarinn in front of the Husavik Heroes. It is a magic night, and we are going to have European football here at Völsungur next season. In our first season up in the top division might be a little bit of a distraction, but we'll see how long we last in those Conference League qualifiers, because it might not be that much of a distraction if we get knocked out early, and that's probably pretty likely, truth be told. But that is a great way to go up to the top division, having won both the League Cup and the overall Icelandic Cup. That means that even with this team that we've already got here, we are probably going to be a force to be reckoned with up in that top division. A really tight game, that one against Grótta. We actually dominated things very comfortably stats-wise, but weren't quite clinical enough with our chances. For some reason, we had Olgierson on penalties there during extra time, and he missed one, but it did not hurt us too much in the penalty shootout. We put all our penalties away. Grótta missed 2 of them, and we do take out the Mjólkurbikarinn here at Völsungur. And back in the inbox after winning that Mjólkurbikarinn final on penalties over Grótta, and there is the main bit of information that matters. Off the back of winning that competition, we are going to be entering the first qualifying round of the UEFA Conference League next season. So we have European football to look forward to next season. Heading up to the top tier, everything looking nice and rosy for us here at Völsungur. We will quickly show you guys the league table, as off the back of this, we'll play that last game of the league season, where we do just need a draw to secure the league title, because heading into that cup final that we did just play, Grótta have already played their last game of the season. They are tight on points with us, but their goal differential is still worse than ours. So even if we lost this game by only the 1 goal, I think we'd still be okay. We have the head-to-head record over Grótta as well, so I think we're pretty safe as long as you don't get spanked in this last game of the season by Leiknir, and we will try and make it a treble to finish off Season 2 here at Völsungur. And TV coverage again for this last league game of the season. It is away from home. We just need a draw. There is Leiknir, the team who got promoted alongside us last season, just outside the relegation zone. In terms of us, exactly the same team we used in that final, but Mafio is back from his brain-dead suspension. Yeah, still can't understand why he did that in that last previous league game that we did have against after Routing, but we just need a draw. Hopefully we get the job done and make it a treble here in the second division of Icelandic football. And we've got a very early highlight here, a throw-in deep inside our own half, but we do look to play out from the back. Treble, who was very good for us in that final before coming off for DuPont. Long ball over the top for Stefansson, tight angle. What can he do? Puts the ball into the mixer, tries to pick out Dordovic, it's headed away, and Flavio Treble is going to get back in position for us. Plays the ball out to Mafio, wanting big things from him today. Nice ball there for Stefansson, but blasted over the bar. Early chance, but still 0-0. 29 minutes gone, second highlight of the game. Mafio's picked up another yellow card, just doesn't want to learn, but we are on the attack, playing the ball back there to Zevnerov. He starts to make his way forward, puts it back in there for Baldursson. Our centre-backs up. Swiderski with a long shot. What a hit that is from Martin Swiderski, fresh off securing us the Mjólkurbikarinn with a penalty. That is a thunderbolt from well outside the box, low and hard from the former Manchester United man, and we make it 1-0 just shy of the half-hour mark. Left foot bangs it. That's a pinpoint strike, and it's 1-0 Völsungur. At the moment, we'll be taking home the 1 deal. And at the 45-minute mark now, it is a throw-in here for Leiknir, but we do still hold the advantage, hopefully. This game doesn't go like it did in the cup final, because it's looking a little bit like it so far, with the fact that they do have this late highlight. In that previous game, Grótta certainly got on top of us a little bit in the second half, hit a few more highlights in their favour. Hopefully we can stamp them out, Leiknir, today in this game, and make sure that we secure the league title pretty comfortably. Long ball over the top there for Stefansson, cut out, but Treble ties things up for us. Dordovic makes his way down the right-hand side. Can he pick out a ball? Tries to put it in far post, leads in, tidies things up, puts a ball in there for Swiderski. It's a little bit messy. It falls to Dordovic, and he makes it 2-0. He was pretty average in the cup final. We took him off at halftime, but this time he pounces on a little bit of a lucky bounce, it has to be said. Swiderski is able to pick up an assist to go alongside his goal. Leadson puts the ball into the mixer. Swiderski with a shot, it's blocked. That's a little bit of a lucky assist, as I said. Pretty fortunate how that ball fell to Dordovic, but we do make it 2-0 right before halftime, and that is exactly where we want to be, dominating this game. 2 goals up. Hopefully we can keep it up in the second half and make it a treble winning season. Okay, up to the 58-minute mark here, we are going to make our first substitution, and it is going to be the last time that you will see Flavio Treble in a Völsungur shirt. Probably he is off to Breidablik, the defending champions now of the top tier, for next season, so I don't think we're going to be getting him back. Chio can come on for him. We'll switch him and Swiderski around. That's pretty much at the moment what our midfield is going to look like for next season, depending on the transfers that we do make. But our first substitution, still 2-0 up at the hour mark. And up to the 66-minute mark now, we have our first proper highlight here of the second half. Baldursson, ball over the top for Stefansson, flicks it on, but their goalkeeper makes a very acrobatic save when there was no one near him. And it is Leiknir who try and clear this through their goalkeeper. Baldursson wins the header. We just get possession back there through Treble, and Leadson makes his way down the left-hand side, the Brazilian, who is going to be right up there in terms of player of the season. Dordovic puts a ball into the mixer, and it somehow finds its way in the back of the net. I have no idea how that ended up in there, because that looked like it was going well over the bar. Somehow it's just dropped in, almost like it was Divock Origi against Everton last season, but Leadson puts this ball into the mixer. I say last season, it was a few years ago now, that Divock Origi thing, but somehow that ball sneaks inside the net. Might have even took a little bit of a touch off the crossbar there. It's a really weird finish. The goalkeeper just caught out a little bit. Just not too sure how that's found the back of the net, but we will take it. 3-0 with 20 minutes to go. And up to the 72-minute mark now, time for us to make our last few substitutions. Dordovic down to a red heart, so Peshatola can come on for him, and Swiderski also on a red heart. Peterson can also come on. Last substitutions for the season, 3-0 up, looking good for a treble. And we do have a highlight straight off the back of those substitutions as well. Swiderski with a ball over the top. It goes straight to Kotenko, but hopefully we just settle things down here, look to ground out this game and go home with the one deal to go alongside our 2 cups. Although it's a good ball over the top there for Barry. Tries to curve that top right corner, puts it wide, and it is still 3-0. And up to the 78-minute mark here, Leiknir starting to work their way into this game. They have a corner which Peshatola deals with at the near post, but they are still in possession through Nasiru. Puts one into the mixer just over the bar. That from Kevin. So starting to get on top of us, but we still hold the 3-0 lead. And another set piece here for Leiknir late in the game at the 87th minute, although they blast that one over the bar. So they have had some late chances in this game. Have the team just outside the relegation zone, but we enter injury time and we are going to be winning a treble in the 2nd division of Iceland. We go up to the top tier in a ton of style with 3 trophies next to our name, both the cup competitions and now the one deal as well. It was a close run thing with Grótta. They pushed us all the way this season, but we eventually got the job done and make our way up to the top division with a treble, winning it away from home. So not too much fanfare for this one, but thankfully we got the job done on the last day of the season, and we pick up another league title, 2 league titles in 2 years, and we make our way up to the top division, and we can now start to really get into the Build a Nation part of this challenge and hopefully turn professional as well. I suppose that's the next thing for our club to do, but that was a pretty comprehensive win, 3-0 over Leiknir to secure us the one deal title, and we'll come back shortly with the end of season review. And it is end of season review time, as you can see on screen, winning 3 trophies this season. Absolute scenes for a club in the 2nd tier. Still not sure why it comes up saying 2021 there, because we're in 2022, of course, but we'll just ignore that and get on to the transfers. There's a bunch of these, so we're not going to go through all of them in terms of the ratings, but the signing of the season, according to our fans, was Stefansson. He picked up 20 goals in 20 starting appearances, 6 off the bench, 5 assists, highest average rating, so fair enough. Personally, Ledson pushed him really close. He was really good, played a few more games as well, 11 goals, 13 assists, hit his hand in pretty similar amount of goals to Stefansson, but as you can see there, a lot of players that we brought in to the club on green ratings, so a lot of good additions to the team this year, and no doubt that helped us winning the amount of trophies that we did. In terms of transfers out, obviously Flavio Trubia is going to be leaving us, but it wasn't too big a deal for this season as he did come back on loan. He's going to be a big miss for us this season, albeit I think we're going to be okay with that midfield of Lillamosa, Swiderski and Chio. We're not losing too much there, but he would have been a great player to keep at the club, the young Belgian, but unfortunately the board stepped in there and did sell him. But outside of that, we let go of players who weren't really of high enough quality to be featuring for us anyway. So I think in terms of transfers this season, we did a good job. Then we go to the results. This is obviously going to be a bunch of high ratings from the board after winning all 3 trophies on offer for us when we were only expected to battle against relegation. First off the league, started off pretty well, had a little bit of a rough patch there with losses against Selfoss, poor, a draw against Vestmannasia, but then we got back into gear. Our only loss off the back of that coming against Fjolnir, a few draws, but on the whole, finished the season off really nicely and just did enough to put Grótta to the league title. Very good season, and we make our way up to the top 10 next season. And with that cup win that we got in the first game of today's episode, we will be entering Europe in our first season in the top tier. So that's going to be interesting. Could be a little bit of an unwelcome distraction potentially, but could also be what we need to turn the club professional as well. And it is good to win the Icelandic Cup, hopefully the first of many times that we win that competition. That could be a competition that next year we target again as well. If the league's not going too well for us, it might be our best chance to try and secure European football for the following season. But we got through to that pretty comfortably. The odd tight game against Flam and of course the final against Grótta, but those other games we won pretty comfortably, had a pretty kind run through to the final and got the job done against Grótta, our fierce rivals from the one deal in the League Cup right at the start of the season. There wasn't too much rowing on this. The board didn't care too much about this competition, but it was nice to win it. Another competition where we had a pretty kind run through, it has to be said, not having to play too many top tier teams as they got knocked out of both competitions before we really had the chance to take them on. But 2 cups, a league title, a very, very good season, one that's going to be quite hard to beat heading forward here at Völsungur, but that is the goal, to try and make it that we win those competitions as well as the Islands dield instead of the one dield. The moments to remember for this season: the biggest win did come in the Mjólkurbikarinn semi-final, a 7-1 pumping of Selfoss. The match to remember was the league game against Fram Reykjavik not too many episodes ago now, a 5-4 classic Ledsson with the late goal, which saw us pick up all 3 points there, some points which ended up being quite important to securing the league title. And the goal of the season was scored in the League Cup by Ledsson against Fjolnir. At the 12-minute mark, there was a corner which was headed away out to Ledsson, and he just bumps this into the bottom left corner. Scored a few goals like that this season, but that one was ruled as being the goal of the season. We go forward to the finances. They've improved because we had that investment once the elections did take place here at Völsungur, but we're going to have to keep on top of that for next season. Hopefully, we turn professional, but obviously we got a lot more broadcast revenue, pretty much increased everything except for our sponsorship. Hopefully that will go up next season with the addition of some big Icelandic trophies in the cabinet. In terms of how we lined up for this season, that is completely wrong. Sigtryggsson wasn't even at the club this season, so that is completely glitched out. We didn't even play a 4-2-4 this season, so weird. We'll just ignore that, and we'll go forward to the accolades. The club awards: the player of the season actually went to Stefansson, who was also our signing of the season. Young player of the season, Ledsson. You could go 50-50 on there. I reckon they were both really good for us, those 2 players. As I said, we brought in a lot of players who made a big difference. I potentially would have leaned towards Ledsson. He had a bit more of an impact with both goals and assists. Stefansson got a lot of goals. Yeah, I suppose you could go either way with that, but Stefansson wins player of the season, Ledsson young player of the season. And as you saw earlier, goal of the season went to Ledsson, the top goal scorer, Stefansson with the 20, most assists, Ledsson with 13. Ledsson got the most player of the match awards, so that's why I was leaning towards him personally, but whatever. Highest average rating, though, did go to Stefansson. So, yeah, those 2 really did dominate things for us this season, and it was a very good year here at Völsungur. We flick over to competition awards, and unfortunately, none of our players actually picked up the competition awards, which is a little bit surprising. Maybe they haven't happened yet, being quite short off the back of that last match of the season. And history in the making, a treble winning season. Everyone very happy with our work here to finish season 2 at Völsungur. So that will do it for this bumper episode. In terms of what we're going to look to do in the off season before we come back, probably for one of the League Cup games in tomorrow's episode, as the dield does start a few months before the regular season does. I think we're going to try and turn the club professional. Not too sure if it's going to be able to happen, but probably the best chance that we're going to have for a little while until we get some consistent money from making European competitions on the regular. But that's going to be the main goal. Hopefully we can turn the club professional and see where we can go from there. Try and bring in some better players, but truth be told, these ones did a really good job for us this season, and I think they'd be good enough to keep us up next season anyway, and we'll probably just see how we get on in that first season in the top division, trying to balance that out with the cup competitions as well, of course, as Conference League. If we can get a decent run in that competition going, maybe make our way through to the group stage. That's going to be a really tough task. We'll have to see how we stack up in the Conference League qualifiers against teams from the rest of Europe. But if you did enjoy today's episode, picking up 2 trophies to go alongside our League Cup at the start of the season and making it a treble, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you are enjoying the series and haven't done so already, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. And until tomorrow for the start of Season 3, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.